daycare, but
Okay.
I've called it school the entire time because I figured like if they got up in the morning and they were used to saying we're going to school, that when it gets to school age,
Right.
they'll already just be like, well, we're going to school. It's just at a different building. So
How old are they?
4 and almost 2.
Okay.
I have our 4-year-old starts preschool.
Right.
In what, 2 weeks now?
Pretty quick.
Yeah, I got a message the other day from Clinton Community School District in my text message, and I'm thinking it was right after I had a meeting with Wes Golden, superintendent, and I'm thinking, what did Wes do? Why did he put me on this thing? And then I open it up, and I'm like, oh smokes, I got a kid going to preschool. So yeah, it was eye opening at that point. Before it was just kind of like whatever, and now it's like I'm getting emails and all this stuff like, welcome to Clinton's Community School District, and I'm like, all right.
Which is great. We get Wes in now on the third Thursday of the month. But when I had children in school, we didn't have anything like that. So I mean, to be able to get the word out as quickly as they do is great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like, this is a test of our alerting system or whatever it is for the text message, and then we got an email with like the welcome letter and all that stuff for the preschool parents and everything. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have I didn't read the letter yet, so I'm sure we'll have back to or starting school night or something like that we'll be going to, and my wife will be in tears because she's already a little like,
oh my goodness,
a little bit like, man, why is he so old, and I'm like, oh, it happens, right?
Wait until he starts college.
Yeah, we'll see.
Our daughter, her oldest, is a senior in high school now, so he's been accepted to Iowa State. So,
awesome.
So she's already getting a little, those things happen. So anyway, school will be starting on the 23rd.
Yeah.
And over in Illinois, Riverbend and Morrison, their opening day is next Wednesday.
Wow.
The 14th. So I'll be reading lunch menus for them come next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Enough
right.
about that. We got the mayor in.
Yeah.
So you want to open up with traffic lights?
Yeah. One thing, a question that has been asked quite a bit to me, and we actually do another radio show, and it was asked on there live that when the traffic lights are going to happen. Originally, it was on 19th and 2nd Street, right? Well, obviously, you can see they're doing the work on that to put them up right now. It was funny because when the question was asked, it was like, oh, they start work tomorrow. So that was good. So those are going back up there. But then the next intersection up there, it's looking like September. We're hoping that the lights on Main and 2nd will be all done and ready to go and everything like that. So a little more patience on that intersection, but we're working on it. The construction's obviously done. I know we had some issue with weeds growing there, but we're working through those issues too. But yeah, so it looks like September that one will be all completed as well.
Talk about the reasoning behind and the need to do this. Was this a city thing or the DOT?
So we got a grant for the traffic safety grant for the 19th and 2nd Street area, just to reconfigure that intersection to make it flow better and things like that, because that is a state highway coming off Main Avenue onto 2nd Street, and then obviously going over the bridge, and then down 2nd Street is a state highway as well. So they kind of trigger some things like that, but it's really a collaboration between our engineering department and the state of Iowa. They're always looking at how they can, better engineer things on those main corridors to make it smoother for traffic to flow here and there.
The decision of the laneage, like a turn lane or single lane, is that up to the DOT, especially since it's a state highway?
I think it's really, yes, at the end of the day, but traffic counts are what really kind of dictate that type of thing, because we've had tons of studies on intersections across the country, right? And we know traffic volumes and what deserves this, what deserves that. So that's really how those things are driven. It's not just like, pull something out of a hat and say, well, we're going to put a turn lane here, or we're going to do right only here. And so it's driven by data and what our traffic counts are at those areas.
Okay, visiting with Scott Maddasion on FYI. Let's move on to the next talking point. Riverfront study meetings.
Yes, so I think a lot of people have seen online, and Facebook is kind of going wild about this. We have on August 15th at the Sawmill from 9 to 11 and the Rusty Barrel from 4 to 8, we have meetings to discuss development of Riverfront. The Sawmill one will basically be kind of the north side of the riverfront. The Rusty Barrel one will be like the south side of the riverfront. So this stretches basically from the Rainbow Park area all the way down to 5th Avenue South, basically, is what we're looking at. So What I need to make sure people understand is this. Do not believe what you read on Facebook. It's not accurate, okay? First off, we haven't sold property. We don't have any developers in tow. We haven't engaged anybody about anything. We're literally just doing a study, and these meetings are trying to gain public input on the study. So yes, there's residential. Yes, there's this. Yes, there's that in what's going to be presented. But you have to have something to present to start the conversation, right? So we're working with this team. We gave some ideas. They put some stuff in there that they've seen in other communities up and down different riverfront areas that work. And so that's what our layout is to start, right? We want to know, what do the people want down there? What do they not want down there? Some people want nothing down there. They want it to remain the same, and that's perfectly fine. Some people have a different opinion. I'll say this. My thought is this. I'm not afraid of change, right? Change is not always the best thing, right? But I'm willing to have the conversation, and that's what we want to do. We want to have a conversation with the public, engage them, and understand how we can better enhance our riverfront, right? Because that's our best asset. So why would you not want more things to do down there? And I always use this as an example. You know, our pickleball courts are jam-packed. Do we need more pickleball courts? We put the rip track in for the skateboarders and the bikers and the rollerbladers and all that stuff, right? Do we need something else of that nature, right? Do we need more playground equipment? Do we need this? Do we need that, right? That's really what we're looking to do down here. And some of this study is eye-opening in my sense because it's reconfiguring what we have already, right? So, you know, we moved the RV campground somewhere else. We still have it. We still have the same amount of sites or more, but we put it in a different location, right? Now that opens up that space to redevelop and do something else there, right? So some of those conversations is how do we reconfigure? How do we best use the space that we have down there to not only engage our local citizens so they have something to do down there, but get other people to come here and enjoy our community as well. That's what these meetings are about.
So again, it'll be August 15th at the Sawmill, 9 till 11 a.m., at the Rusty Barrel from 4 to 8 p.m. So who will be monitoring these meetings?
Yep. So we'll have city staff there that have been kind of involved in the conversations before. I'm going to try to make all of it, or at least some of it, in both locations, depending on what my schedule looks like. Our Parks and Rec director, Josh Eggers, he's been involved in these conversations as well, and he's kind of, I think, not speaking for him, but he's on the same wavelength as I am. Like, you know, he's always looking to enhance our parks areas and things like that, make them better, and he's just willing to have the conversation. Not everything in this study will work, and there's things in this study, I'll tell on the air to everybody, like, there's some things that I hate. Like, this is a terrible idea. No way, right? But it's in there, right? Because that's how you get things going. You know, if someone says, hey, we should do this right here, it gets you thinking, like, well, maybe we should do this instead or whatever. So that's the one thing that that's a long answer to everything, but I really want people to understand that we have to engage in conversation and things like this, and we have to try to grow and enhance, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? And if we truly all want to grow our community, which that's what I want to do, and I think most people are on that same wavelength, I hope, that we got to have these conversations. We got to talk about it. We got to see how we can be better, because being complacent never makes you better.
What do you see as the potential of some of the area along the riverfront that is pretty much, you know, just riverfront right now that's not being used at all?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some things that we can do in there. We've, you know, talking about Willow Island, we've talked about Willow Island, like how can we use that more? Do we need more like marina space out on Willow Island, right? Can we enhance our marina and make it better? We've talked about putting a beach over there. So, you know, people, if you don't have a boat, you could, you know, walk over the bridge there and get over to right on Willow Island, and there's a beach there that you could hang out at and you can swim, because that's actually a pretty good spot to swim. If you bring your boat in there, it's pretty deep. There's no current. There's no anything, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about that. That, to me, would be a great enhancement to the riverfront, right? Mm-hmm. Be a lot of work to do that, but that's one thing. And you know, we included the area by the sawmill. We don't necessarily own that. but we included it because we're good partners with the sawmill, and we wanted to kind of give them some ideas like, hey, this is the type of stuff that you might be able to do with your land right here, which not only would help them and their development and their business, but it would be good for the citizens in the city as well. So not to tell them what to do, but to give them some ideas. And I think we're being a good partner in that sense. And we have a lot of riverfront that we don't utilize. So how do we find a way to utilize that?
Yeah. So what are some of the positive things that you've heard from people, and what are some of the negative things that you've heard from people on this?
Well, most of the negative things are surrounded by that they want nothing to change. That our riverfront is just fine and they want nothing to change. We don't need people living down there. We don't need people down there. That's kind of what I got. The positive things that I've heard are kind of on the lines of what I said, but most of it is surrounded on growth for the community, right? We need to grow. We need to change, right? And it's also surrounded upon making things better. Like if we, maybe the baseball fields down there, maybe we want to do something to them to make them more attractive to use on more nights, or what, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but different things like that. The campers down there, that thing's full all the time. And maybe it's not we move the campground, maybe it's just we add more, because for whatever reason. So I think that's really what it's been surrounded on. But the information that's being thrown around out there, most people don't even know they haven't seen the study yet. This day is when you're going to officially see it.
So yeah, if you are interested in this, it's going to be on August 15th, so next Thursday.
Yeah.
A week from today, 9 to 11 at the Sawmill and Rusty Barrel from 4 to 8.
And a quick reminder, come, give your opinion, whether it's positive, negative, whatever. Give your opinion, but I really, really want people to do it in a professional manner, because that's one thing that gets me. Let's have an adult conversation in a professional manner. Whether we disagree or not is great, but we want that feedback.
Good point. Check of the weather now, brought to you by Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
More of the same expected for your Thursday. The only difference being some more clouds this afternoon, and one or two of those clouds could yield a brief shower or a sprinkle. Most of us stay dry, though. We'll be back in the mid-80s today. Cold front working through this evening gives us a cooler night with mostly clear skies. We'll see overnight lows in the low 50s. With your Storm Track 8 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Right now, fair skies, 68 degrees. Our update brought to you by Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Everyone knows the climate changes quickly in the Midwest. Make your home comfortable all year round with Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Right now, Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning offers up to $380 in rebates, plus additional incentives on a whole home comfort system from Bryant, whatever it takes.
No matter what the temperature is like outdoors, at least your home will always be comfortable when you trust Kelly.
Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning in Clinton, your Bryant factory authorized dealer.
Mayor Scott Maddasion in on FYI. Let's get an update on the county versus the city, Scott.
Yeah, so I think it's obviously been in the newspaper and different things like that. So there was a lawsuit with the county between the city for the rail park. There was a $6 million bond that was taken out to buy rail back. Boy, I didn't remember what year it was now, 2009, 2008. So there was a dispute on the payback and exactly how much was owed. That's why the lawsuit came about. This is a problem that has been inherited by myself, our current council, and the current board of supervisors. Nobody was there when this happened. So we're working through this. I just want folks to know that, the way I look at this is, it was just kind of a business dispute is what it was, right? And there's a lawsuit, and the judge made a ruling. We understand what the ruling is now. The number's kind of set in stone, and we're working through payback and how to solve that. We've had some meetings with council and meetings with a kind of a negotiating team, we'll call it, with the county. Things are going real good. I'm hoping that by the end of the day today, we're going to kind of slap the table and have something completed and done. But we'll see how that goes. But I just want folks to know that this is not. I don't want this to paint a negative light on the rail park. The rail park is an outstanding asset. We have Atlas Roofing coming in. If you go out there, you see there's the South 36, the road getting put in there. When that road's completed, I ask every citizen to go out there and just drive into the rail park and see how much that infrastructure is just going to completely change the landscape of folks that are looking to bring their business here, right? So I think that's going to be really, really good. And I don't want to the dispute with the court stuff to overshadow how much work so many people have put into that rail park and how important it is to our community, because we know that, the county knows that, everybody knows that. This is literally just kind of a dispute over dollars, and I think we're almost at the end of this road where we'll solve it and we'll be done and we'll move on. But I think it's important that people know that it's is not, for me, I'm not upset about it necessarily. We're just kind of working through it just like we would anything else. And, you know, the city, they have contract disputes with people here and there, you know, that did a road project or this or that, you know, and those people are still doing projects in our city, even though there was a dispute at one point. I mean, it happens in business, and that's how life works, and we'll get through it, and then we'll all move on, and we'll work together, and we'll be a good team.
You know, it is tough when something like this comes out of left field, though, isn't it? My goodness.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate we weren't kind of able to negotiate it ourselves, and that we had to, you know, pay attorneys to kind of get us on a path. But that happens, right? Some people are, you know, we had our side, they had their side, and we were both kind of pretty strong on what we felt was right, and you know, not willing to budge, I guess. At least both of us were kind of bullheaded, I guess you'd say. But yeah, I mean, we're at this point now that, you know, the one thing that was a big dispute was the number. The number is now the $5.2 million. That's what it was. It's the $6 million versus the minus the almost $800,000 that we paid already from land sales. So. The number's set now. A judge told us this is the number, and that's what we're going with. And that was one of our sticking points. And now that we have that, whether or not we feel great about that on the city side, that's what it is. So now we move on, and we find a way to finish this out and go from there.
But as you pointed out, I mean, it's such an important area out
it is,
there.
yeah.
And we had Andy Sokolovich in on Monday for Grow Clinton, and he talked about how, you know, with Atlas Roofing, how that could lead to other industries coming in who you know, maybe provide some things for Atlas Roofing.
Correct. Yeah, I think there'll be some byproduct stuff of that. You know, maybe it's something that they provide for Atlas, or maybe they're, you know, we'll call it the waste from Atlas can be used for something else, right? And another business comes in for that. I'm really crossing our fingers. I know it's been 4 years, but Project MG, I'm really hoping that renewable biodiesel plant comes in, because that will also bring some of the same effects. Yeah. Some of their byproducts can be used for other things, and they need certain things for their inputs. So I'm really confident that when that infrastructure gets put in, the road specifically, because now you could drive in there, and if I'm a big business guy, I can look and be like, all right, it's not necessarily just farm ground. I'm standing right here, and you can say my land would go from here to here, and this is, you can visualize your building instead of standing on Highway 30 with the cars going by, like, looking.
Yeah. Council meeting going to be moved?
Yeah, I thought it was important to note that the council meeting will be moved. It's supposed to be next Tuesday. It's going to be next Monday, same time, same place, 5 o'clock, City Hall. The Clinton Night Out was scheduled on Tuesday. And, you know, I'm in the dunk tank down there, so come and you know, throw balls at me, put me in the water if you want. So I'll be in the dunk tank. We have a couple council members that work with the American Legion, the Sons of the American Legion, so they're involved in the event as well. It just had a conversation with Councilmember Oberon specifically, and he kind of felt it would be important to move it so that we all could attend that night out. And it's a big event. I mean, there's usually 3,000 or 4,000 people down there. So it's an important night for our representatives to be down there. And you never know how long a council meeting will last. So, you know, saying you're going to get in and get out quick doesn't always work. So
fill us in on the night out. So it's going to be on Tuesday, August 13th.
Yep, Tuesday, down on Riverfront there. Corporal Haskell does a wonderful job running this event and coordinating everything. There's going to be tons of local businesses and local vendors and people down there with booths and tents and talking about all the services that they provide. I couldn't even begin to name them because there's going to be too many of them. You're going to have fire trucks and squad cars, and last year National Guard was there, and, you know, they had the chopper down there, and you could go through that and everything. And So there's going to be a lot of community pride, a lot of community events down there. There'll be music, there'll be food and all that stuff, and it's just a really cool place to kind of walk around and you get to see everybody, and then also you get to engage with all those businesses, nonprofits, and all that stuff. So
again, that'll be Tuesday, August 13th.
Yeah.
And you got your bike ride coming up.
Yeah, Mayor's Bike Ride is next Wednesday. So that kicks off right after market music, right? And so market music usually ends about 7-ish, right in that range. I think it's Mr. Travis Hosette that's singing on Wednesday. Yes. Yeah. So we usually all kind of hang there and we watch that and finish it out. And then once they're done, we'll take off on the bike ride. It's usually, I don't know, about 45 minutes or an hour. It's not a difficult ride. We usually just kind of go down Riverfront, and then like we mentioned earlier, we hit the RIP track. We usually ride around that a little bit if you're interested, and just downtown and then back up north. So just a cool little thing to kind of bounce around, and it's, like I said, it's not
How many
a
years
grueling.
you been doing that?
This will be year 3.
Okay, I thought it was the 3rd one, yeah.
Yeah. And
how'd that come about?
Chad Jensen at the bicycle shop up north there, Jensen Oil. He reached out to me and asked me, he's like, "You willing to do something like this?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. I'm not an avid bike rider like he is and some other folks, but I enjoy it." So we put it together, and we've had probably 30-40 people there both years, and.
Okay.
So it'll be a good time. So come on and hang out, ride bike with us. We can chit chat. It'll be good.
There you go. They can talk about city matters with you.
Yeah, Hey, absolutely. I'll just ride faster if I don't want to answer.
There you go. We were going to have Brandon Rummler in to talk about the Backyard Bash coming up tomorrow, barbecue.
Yeah.
But we were off the air. We lost power at that time.
Oh, darn it.
I know, but so you can fill us in because I know you're going to be in the dunk tank.
I'll be in the dunk tank there, too.
How many dunk tanks have you been in this summer?
So I did the 4th of July, and then I'll have these 2. And I thought there was one when they did the bike rodeo.
Okay.
I got my messages crossed from Corporal Haskell, and I thought there was one then, too. But he was talking about Clinton Night Out, and I thought it was that. So it would have been 4, but it's 3. And the Backyard Bash is obviously for Skyline. It's a fundraiser event for them. God, they do a great job. I don't know if last year was the first year they did it. I think it was. It was the first year I was invited, I guess, Maybe that
I think it might have been the second.
Maybe
this
the
might be
second?
the third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did the dunk tank last year. I was the top money guy last year at the dunk tank. And this year he changed it up, and he did it's like a 1-versus-1 like rivalry, who can raise more money. And this year, my opponent is my dear friend, Austin Pruitt, the mayor of Comanche. So come out to the Backyard Bash, have a good time. There'll be events for the kids. There'll be music and food and all that stuff. But give more money, donate it to my cause so that we beat Austin Pruitt, because, every year we do a shake-off for the Salvation Army at Hy-Vee, and I'm 2-0 against Austin there at Hy-Vee. He says it's because it's in Clinton, but I'm like, well, I'll go to Comanche. Where do you want me to go, right? So it'll be a good time, and there's been a little smack talk between me and Austin, because that's kind of how we roll. So yeah, come on out on Friday, so tomorrow, and have a good time. I think Chris Streets is versus Chris Klon. Klon is he's the general manager out at the Valley Oaks, right? So I don't know if they have. I know Brandon will be in the dunk tank too. Yeah. I think he's usually the first one that goes, and so yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. And last year, my whole family was there. We had a blast. So
he always wants me to come out there for that, but it's always on the same day as the University of Iowa Football Media Day.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I will be in Iowa City.
You're the sports guy.
Darn. Too bad I can't get in a dunk tank.
We can save a spot for you on another day if you want.
I appreciate that. So if people want to find out more about what's happening in the city, how can they best do that, Scott?
You always can reach out to myself or council members, but I would say go on our website, sign up for the alerts. You can sign up for to get meeting notes, press releases, all that kind of stuff, and it'll kind of alert you when something big happens, and then if it engages you, you can find more information out. All the boards and commission meetings are posted online. They are open to the public. Go to any meetings you want. And then obviously the council meetings twice a month. Make sure and come to those, or you can watch them on YouTube and at your leisure.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.